Next question, Emily, can start this one with you, and it revolves around clients. How best should we involve clients in this debate about flexible working? Because quite often they've got different schedules to our own, and they're very demanding. Should we be looking at them to see whether or not they've got best practice that we can adopt, or should we negotiate in a way? Should we have conversations with them to frame flexible working for individuals, knowing what the needs of those clients are? How do we address that thorny client problem?
It's really interesting because particularly when your clients are international and so you're expected to travel a lot, that makes it, you know, sort of quite a sort of a thorny issue, as you say. I think the key thing really though is just about having open, honest conversations and kind of going, right, I can do this, but what it means is that this won't happen, or yes, I can fly to somewhere in Europe or, you know, sort of wherever. But what that does mean is that I'm going to have to take a bit of time back because I'm going to miss something, and so you just have those conversations. And I think if you have honest conversations with your clients and with your, you know, with your agency and with your team and your bosses, it works a lot better. Other things that I found quite useful are having a buddy at work, so somebody who's already gone through this. And this is something that I was really trying to put, and it was actually something that clients seem to do a lot better than agencies, and so it was one of the learnings that we got from a client, was actually having somebody that's already been on maternity leave or has children within the organisation, and then using, you know, so when somebody's going off on maternity, buddying them up with somebody, so they've always got that link, and they know then what the client pressures are, what the, you know, so they're still in touch, and that makes an enormous difference. And then really, I think the key is that those conversations around flexibility. Everybody's human at the end of the day, and very often your clients have got kids too, and so they're going through exactly the same.
Yeah, Karen?
I completely agree with that. I have had conversations with some of my clients who have talked about, well, this person can't work on the account because they work 4 days a week, and actually they're really needed on a Friday. And I'm like, okay, what is it that you need them to do on a Friday? Is there a set meeting or something that's happening on a Friday? And there's not normally a set meeting on a Friday. Some things may happen, there may be an emergency, but there's a strong bench, there's a strong team, which means that that individual can pass the baton to somebody else to manage it on a Friday. So I do have my nostrils flaring when I hear that from a client saying, well, you know, somebody working 4 days on our account isn't going to work. Why not? Because the output's there, the quality's still there, and actually there's a strong team, and if we work as a team, it's about baton passing. For myself, I am very clear with clients when I am and aren't available. So my clients will know that between the hours of 6 PM and 8 PM, I'm not answering an email, I'm not taking a call, and I have this conversation with them. They know that it's just me, and they'll know that I will ring back after 8 o'clock, or I will email after 8 o'clock. But I have had that conversation with clients, and I think for the guys in the agency, because of me role modelling, it's probably slightly easier because I set my stall out with our clients. But there can be tricky clients and there can be tricky conversations. But I completely agree, clients are human as well, they've got their own families as well, and they will sort of understand. It's more difficult if they haven't gone through that situation themselves yet, but more than likely they are going through it, and they will get it. And as long as the quality of work and the output of work and the responsiveness from the individual, the team doesn't change, I think you can have those discussions, and it's about trialling it to see if there's anything bad that happens, and if not, well, it's absolutely fine.
And this has changed, right, hasn't it? I mean, that's the biggest. Oh, sorry, I mean, this has really changed, and it's for one reason. Well, one of the structural reasons that this has changed is, you know, it used to be the trade-off, which is you worked on the agency side, and you got paid more, promoted faster, but you worked much, much harder. You know, your hours were much longer. That was kind of the ethical trade-off with clients. They were slightly slower paced and didn't work quite as hard. That's really shifted because there's half the number of people in marketing than there was 10, 15 years ago. So their level of empathy with some of the situations that we're dealing with on this is 10 times greater than it used to be. So I think that you can have that conversation because it feels we're all in a similar boat in a way that I don't think was true a decade ago.